What's going on, everybody? We're back for another week because we're going to continue to keep doing this because this is what I want to be building in my life is my portfolios and my trading. So let's get after it. So the charts have cleaned up a little bit, and I'm really focusing on clarity in the markets and in my charts. So today I want to go over what positions I'm holding overall and just how I'm feeling about the market in general, and maybe a little bit about life too. So let's go. So first off, I have two different portfolios, and I just want to show you based on the trading strategy I'm playing, and it's being a lot stricter with options I'm trading, and realizing that you actually don't want half your portfolio in options, or crypto, or super risky assets like that, and you actually are going to compound your account through shares and actual capital appreciation, and it's just going to take a lot more time than you think, right? Capital builds capital. People are trading hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? I'm not anywhere close to that level, but how do you think you get there, right? You need to start somewhere. So that's what we're doing, and it's just a process, and it always hypes me up to keep doing this, keep learning something, keep getting better. So let's get after it. First off, I'm going to cover the stocks that I'm currently holding. So I'm going to go to my portfolio here and just look. So we have AEHR, semiconductor stock. So very clearly, what do you notice about this? It's very bullish, right? So here's the market bias indicator. It's nice dark green. Okay, and then the BX trender. These two are in accordance. It's bullish. It looks pretty good. Nice. I'm going to hold this. Here's my clearly defined stop loss at 33.35, and then you can find that on the daily chart. It's just kind of like the entry day low, or the low, but I entered on this day. No, I entered this day. So entry day low, stop loss, and yeah. But yeah, so it's bullish stock, and that's the biggest thing. It's longing stuff that's actually going up. This thing already hit $43, this week, but yeah, it looks like we kind of closed right there at that same resistance level. Yeah, holding this position, it looks good. According to the strategy, it would have been better to buy this around 22, obviously, right? Obviously, so we don't even need to worry about that. But yeah, this is where we're at. We're up about 2%, so yeah. And then along with the Schwab portfolio, we're also holding EOSE, and I'm going to have to stop out and take a 34% loss. There's no reason to hold this or hope, right? There's no reason to hold this or hope. Like, oh, it fell right into the market bias, and that does look actually kind of decent if it bounces, but it's just like when something sells this hard, it doesn't just recover instantly. Like, it's gonna take a while. And this is one of the last positions that I entered that I didn't actually have a stop loss, so I should really exit it and just take the loss, because you can't be entering stocks without stop losses just based on stories you tell yourself. Like, oh, this has a great narrative for the stock. Like, okay, like if you need a narrative, go read a book. Like, I'm just trading technicals, and right now it's closed red on the BX, and it's not like there's no reason to hope. Like, it's not going up for a while here, and it's not like I'll forget this stock exists, but like, it's just might as well just take the loss and just move on. Yeah, it sucks, but that's just what happens trading stocks. And then we're in NEBIS, NBIS. This is one I actually don't have a clear stop loss on either. So yeah, that's actually a problem. Let's set one here. 79.69 right here. average cost is pretty good on this, so I can afford to kind of drop it a little bit, but yeah, there's our stop loss on Nebus. And I was trying to do a day trade, or like options trade on this, but yeah. All right, boom, stop loss on this stock as well. And that would be about, because we're up 9% from our position, so yeah, that'd be about a 3% loss. So we could even make this a little bit deeper. Like, we're all... Because, like, it's bullish on the monthly, right? So it looks pretty good, but... I think we should make this stop loss a little bit deeper. And you're like, why? Because my average cost is good. So I can afford to. You can see we're kind of trading in bearish structure though, so I don't necessarily love that. I'll just keep the stop loss here. I don't know why you'd lower your stop loss. Based on what? And then we're in Qnity. I just entered this pretty recently on this day. Dude, it opened really high that day. And yeah, and once again, this is a new IPO stock, so it doesn't have any of these, but like, it's just uptrending really well. Yeah, it's just catching momentum, you know, with a clear stop loss and exit. That's literally it. That's all I'm trying to do. And it's just, it takes a while to like realize like, oh, all these things, like all these things. I don't know. But do we have a stop loss now on all of our positions? I'm gonna add Nebus to our active positions. I might rename this to Schwab. And I'll add a section here. So these are just like our active positions, and each broker. Like I'm not very invested right now. Holding 65% cash in my Schwab account because I exited Meta and Amazon. Just due to this plain fact that this is red. There's no reason to marry a stock just because it's a good name. Like, straight up, there's zero reason to fall in love with a stock or tell stories about why it should go up. I'm just playing this right here. I'm just playing that. That's it. There's no other reason. Not that Meta and Amazon are going anywhere as companies. No, I don't think they are. But all I'm saying is I'm reading this and letting that decide for me. It's not, I'm smarter than the market, I'm smarter than price action, because you're not, and you'll never be. So why not just play with price action? So now I'll pull up my Robinhood positions. And yeah, it's time to set stop losses on every single one of them, because if you're in the market when you don't know where you're wrong, yeah. If iron breaks 33, 34, bro, like you're cooked. You know what I mean? Like it's over, bro. Obviously, I don't want these to trigger, but you need a stop loss. My average cost on iron is 38.30. Dude, we might as well get super detailed. I don't even know how long this video is gonna be, but you know. Let's just do it. Let's just do it, man. Because it's also good to keep these on watch, because like stocks like iron, dude, you can rip like day trades on this and make a lot, because this is a super volatile stock. So if I'm like actually actively watching it, you can catch these 13% days. Like, oh yep, let's rip 14%. Yep, let's rip 10%, 7%, 5%. Like a 5% day on a stock, if you're in like a short dated option, you're gonna make a lot. Not that I'd advise that, and I'm really trying to move away from that. But yeah. Once again, it looks pretty bearish. But, you know, whatever. So we're in Viavi as well, with a clear stop loss. Awesome. Just let it play. You know when you're in. Taking Robinhood on a bounce, just out of this buy zone. However, it does contradict this monthly, so I'm trying to get out of this pretty quick. Yeah, stop loss 69.22, month low. Listen, no, you don't get paid for hoping. You really don't get paid for hoping. And then we're in Navitas Semiconductor. Oh, didn't close super strong on the monthly. But yeah, I think the stock looks pretty good. This is all I'm holding right now. I have 8 positions in 8 stocks. That's it. I have 2 brokers. That's it. Alright, so those are all my positions. I have my stop loss on Navitas here. So yeah, I think I'm just trying to make it very clear. You need to stop. You need a stop loss. And it's not, oh, the price, you know. Bro. Oh, it touched the level. I need to sell instantly. No, it's like, okay. These are triggering, like, you might as well. Like, I could lose literally all 8 of these. I could go 0 for 8. 0 for 8. It's very possible. Okay, so now we're in our positions with stop losses on every single one. Except the OSE. Yep. Okay, now we'll get into what I'm looking at in terms of adding for shares. So in options, I like Hecla here for an options trade. Okay, we kind of got that dip on that massive liquidation a couple weeks ago. And yeah, look at this flat top it's kind of forming right here. We had a double top here, so it could either reject off this level or close above it. I'm not going to repeat what I did on GLD, where we didn't actually get the confirmation and then it sold off. Holy wick. Dude, there's always some weird shit on this stock. Like, what? What? Bro, it literally got me tweaking. That's an insane wick, but okay. Wow. Yes, so I'm gonna wait for a closure above this level, 25.21. And yeah, I'll buy April options, not next week, not, you know. I'm buying time on them so they can actually move. It's more expensive, but it's a better contract. It actually has volume and open interest, which is what you want. Why am I buying Hecla Mining? Well, I would say the beta is low, but it's not like, it's not high. Like, it's not a high beta stock, even though somehow, okay. Yeah, like Robinhood is a 3 beta. I mean, this is relatively independent of, QQQ, which just closed red on the monthly. And it's like gold is ripping. And yeah, once again, if it closes above this level, I like options here, targeting this $28 level. We have strength on the monthly. Extreme strength on the monthly, actually. And the weekly. Yeah, the daily looks fine. Once again, if we're above this level, I like options. Next, CCJ in terms of shares. Nuclear, once again, just kind of, I'm not talking narratives, but, strength. Yes, it's quite extended from the monthly bias, but once again, it's nice and strong. Same thing with the weekly here. You could say it's a little extended, yeah. But I like it for continuation above $124. It's kind of consolidating in this range. And yeah, you just set your stop loss here. Right? So if I entered at 124 and sold at 115, I'd lose 7%. Which realistically is not that bad, for high upside. And that's why I like trading shares, and I'm trying to mature and just trade shares more often than not. It's at a good daily level. And yes, this looks good. CCJ, it's forming a wedge. I like it above 124, and then I have my stop loss mark. That's it. That's all trading is. It's entering for a reason and exiting for a reason. Knowing your exits. It's like Hecla. What would I do? How would I exit Hecla? Well, I would exit. My stop loss would be at the low of the day on the entry day. So say I entered tomorrow and the candle prints, like say the low's right there and here's a candle. My stop loss would be right there at the low of that candle on the entry day. So if we enter and then the stock breaks below that on the day after, I'm in options, I'm getting out. Like I'm not playing around with that. But given the fact that it's actually further dated, it's not like, I really hope I'm not going to be down like 40% instantly, because that happens to me all the time on options. And it's just like, bro, like it's kind of discouraging a little bit. But yeah, once again, I like the setup. Okay, quick logic. This one's one of the better setups, I'm not gonna lie here. Weekly bias, we're close, nice and green. Monthly, it's a fresh bull cycle, breaking through this bias. We have high volume here, but if we break above, I like $13, right? So this, once again, it's risk reward. I'll set my stop loss around $1. So if I enter, I'd lose about $1, which is about 12%. But I'm targeting $13, and remember, I'm trading shares, so nothing expires. It's a 57% move. If we measure this here, you know, 4 to 1. And you're like, why don't you target this high? I could, but... And look at this flag on the daily. Boy. Yeah, I like this one. I want to get into quick logic. CenX is Century Aluminum. Yeah, it's just kind of flagging at the top a little bit. I don't know, it's slightly consolidating, but once again, insane monthly strength. Dude, I don't know how, like, I didn't know where I was, but like when aluminum was forming a parabola, like this stock was at roughly $20 in July. So it's more than doubled since then. And I think the biggest thing about trading shares is that you can monitor these stocks, and if they have really good momentum, you can throw options on top. It's not like, I think shares, well, are the underlying, well, they are, but like, I think it's a good way to visualize it. Like, okay, I'm gonna pick up this underlying asset and have a clear stop loss of a percentage of my position that I'm willing to lose. And that's it. I know exactly how much I'm going to lose because it's a share. Whereas options, you can just lose however much the market wants you to lose, basically. It's kind of crazy. But if you're adding leverage to a chart like this, I'm not saying that, Century Aluminum had good spreads or anything, but I'm sure you could trade options on this stock. Yeah, like this thing has like 2 volume. I don't even know how you'd get, but like, I don't know. Like, I probably wouldn't want to trade options on a stock like that. Yeah, I mean, I like this. It's just super extended. It's just like, I feel like you're kind of chasing. But I don't know. The bigger thing is, like, trends are more likely to continue. I'm not going to say it's going to continue these fat candles, but like, it's probably going to chop around and then move up more. Like, it's how trends work. I have Verizon on my watch list. It's kind of flagging here. See, I guess the biggest position I'm looking at is Hecla. I'd love to enter a, decently dated options position on this. I also like Quick Logic and Cameco. Once again, they just align with structure, right? Green, green. Green, extremely green, And it's not, oh, I should have entered in April. Like, yeah, you should have, but you're probably, I don't even know what you're doing, man. Like, you know what I mean? But so let's just dive through some stocks. Cleveland Cliffs, another material stock, and you'll notice that a lot of money is getting rotated out of tech and into other sectors such as energy and materials. Look at this. Potential double bottom? Question mark, question mark. This is actually a really good level here because look at this point of control on the weekly. Daily, sorry. This is a strong support level. Right? So if we entered here, we could set our stop loss at 994. Right? And then we would lose, based on relative price right now, we would be losing, 6%. I guess the thing that makes you want to consider this is this kind of bottom signal here, right? On the weekly, this is kind of a bottom signal. This is not necessarily a strong candle, but it's just kind of hitting resistance. But if price wants to continue and reject below this level, then yeah, just exit. but you know, you're getting decent risk to reward here. So I like this for shares. And this, like, for example, this would be a way better buy, Cleveland Cliffs versus Cenex. And you're like, why? Just look at it relative to the weekly bias, right? So this bias is like the moving averages. It's like a combination of the 21, 50 moving averages. So if you're like in between around this price level, you're near the moving averages, right? Which acts as dynamic support. Whereas this, like this wants to fall eventually to the moving averages. So if I bought here at 55 and it even does a healthy correction towards the moving averages, I would lose a lot of, I would be stopped out pretty much instantly. And it's basically saying like this stock will continue to go up forever. Whereas this is like, okay, I'm buying at a relative discount. And if it wants to continue and drop below the month low, I'll just exit because I entered too early or something, you know, and lose 6%. But I think if you have a defined stop loss, no matter what, you can enter really at any point. It's just your risk to reward changes based on where you enter. So here's another good one, right? Just out in this inside here in the weekly bias. It looks like, so basically you want this to be making a higher low, right? Right, you want to read the market structure. Right, this is bearish. Ready, you make a high. Oh, it's higher. Let's lower than this. Low, low, low. Look at this. We made a low here. Looks. Hopefully, the kind of the problem here is that this is a lower low. Right, this is actually an equal low. So if we want to break this level, this is a very good stop loss prop right here, because look, we bottomed out here at 990, right? So we could even change the stop loss to 990, right, and move it here. Right, look, equal low right here. So if we want to hold this level, we're bouncing right off support. If we want to break this level, the structure is broken and it's bearish again. Once again, this stock has been over $30. And it's actually been over $100. So if you zoom out, this is a very minuscule price movement. And once again, you are losing 7%. So when you're trading stocks, you have to be okay with taking losses like this. Once again, here's an example. It looks like we're trying to make a low here. We're within this bias here. Monthly, green, awesome. Within the monthly, this is a good price. Once again, you can just set a stop loss. Wow, look, equal low. I would set it at 1694. If it wants to break this, okay, I think it made a lower low. I think it's going to continue lower. If it doesn't want to lose that, and dude, look at this strength. Look at that open. It opened at 1708. Like it gapped down and then it jumped like 8%. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, just set a stop loss. And don't like get emotional if it hits. Like if it hits, it hits. Like it's not, oh, I'm smart. I'm not smart. Like it's not that, bro. It's seriously, it's like, okay, the price did this. The price did this. It's not, oh, I'm wrong. I spent so much time on my narrative. I wrote 14 paragraphs about why this stock's gonna go up. Like, bro, just chill, man. Just chill. So look at this. This is solid. This is a higher low here, right? So here's this low. Here's this low. Oops. Looks like it might bounce here, right? What's telling you this isn't gonna bounce, right? So we made this low here. Look, bull cycle, 25%, 14%, 18%. So from here to here, if you bought, once again, if your stop loss was here, once again, and the reason I set tight stop losses is because if they hit, dude, like the moves that actually work, don't trigger the stop loss. I know it sounds like okay, like, but like seriously, if the stock bounces from here, it's gonna go up. It's not gonna jump down here, consolidate for an hour, and then go here. Like, no, it's gonna work. It's gonna bounce from this level and work. So if you just have a quick stop loss, you just get out of the position. It either fakes you out and then bounces. It'll probably happen. I'll tell you this. I sold Zeta. Well, because of this, right? Remember, this is what we're watching. I sold this. Whoops. But guess what? Like the day after, it bounced 13%. It's gonna happen. So you have a tight stop, and if it doesn't go your way pretty much quickly, just get out of the position. There's no reason to hope. And I've learned this the hard way. I was holding XRP for months. Okay, I am exposing myself completely. Look at this chart. This is the worst chart I've ever seen in my life. And I was holding this. I was holding during this. A massive, not a massive, but like a big position size relative to my account, holding that. So it took, a lot of money to kind of realize, like, there's no reason to hope. Like, it's not to think that this will never go back up. I mean, I think it will. But, like, there's no reason to hold your capital up in something that looks like this. There's just zero reason. It doesn't look good. Why not trade something that looks like this on the monthly? And it's also position sizing. It's not, oh, this position needs to be huge because I know it's going to go up. You don't know it's going to go up. This one looks solid, though. I'm not going to lie. Once again, this looks really good. This is buying pressure accumulation for months. This is at a discount right here. This, wait, sorry. And then I'm just going to go. I just feel more confident if I'm just setting stop losses. So like I can set my stop loss here at 65.14, or just delete the line. You're like, why are you setting stop losses? What if it, like, it just ensures that I'm in positions that are actually moving, right? If the stock breaks this level again, it's not making a higher high. Right? It's not making a higher high. This looks like it made the low. This is a pretty good bottom signal. To think that we won't find resistance around this level is crazy. I think we will. Right? This is, once again, the moving averages or dynamic support and resistance. But this looks good. And that's all you can do. Yeah, and I'll show you an example where it completely failed. Novo Nordisk. Look amazing. This looks so good. And then it just headlines stuff and it just sweeps the low. But let me show you. How do you avoid this? How do you avoid this? Or at least mitigate your losses, right? You set your stop loss. So if we go back on the weekly, right? So let's see, actually. So like you would have wanted to. Like this wasn't even that long ago. Like you would have want to enter it. I remember it was around $49 that it was my like trigger. I still remember this. It's like it was like even if you broke this top right here, you enter here. Look. And listen, if it gaps down on like a Monday, you're kind of cooked. But like it would have. Yeah, you might have been cooked actually. You might have been cooked. You could even scrape out a couple dollars, but like if it gaps down on a Monday, like that just sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, but anyways, right? You enter here because you think, okay, this bearish structure is gonna break. It looks like, you know, that's crazy, bro. Damn. Okay, the point is, I was gonna enter around $49, $50, right? Say you enter here, perfect trigger. This week, you could have entered. Boom, 12%. You could have sold right there. I mean, you could have made, almost 20% in 2 weeks. And then you're like, where's your stop loss? Okay, let's have a tight stop loss. The stop loss could have been this. This is the point of control. NVO looks to the gutter. It's probably going to go like probably negative $20. I'm kidding, but you can go and you're like, okay, how do you deal with this? Something like this that wicks it, and then in my opinion, you just stop out. Like you don't want to like 14% in a day. It's just the game you play, right? It's just the game you play, but you're like, okay, I'll set my stop loss right here. Why? Well, let's see how much we're risking. If I entered at, $51, that's a pretty large stop loss, actually. 15%. But, okay, I'm confident, right? I like this. The setup looks amazing. I'll set a 15% stop loss. And you probably would have gotten cooked, actually, because, yeah, it gapped down on a Monday, but once again, that's just the game you play. The point is, it's not going to work all the time. It's not going to work all the time. Yeah, that's just a prime setup just getting cooked. Oh well, it'll happen. Damn, boy. Probably duck this one. And yeah, it's just like, it's literally just numbers or letters, You're just trading letters and numbers. It's not, oh, I need this to work because the management's so good. Like, you're playing an inherently illogical game if you're just trading stock market. It's not something like you have a personal connection to these companies, right? And that's why I don't feel pulled to have a corporate job, because the point of a corporation is to continually perpetuates itself and make more money. Right, and it uses people to do that, and it's not like that's bad. Like, it's like people need jobs. I think it's important, right? And it gives people, purpose and stuff. But like, the corporation doesn't give a shit. I'd rather make money off the corporation by trading the stock, because that's the entire point of the stock market, is making money. It's the best video game in the world, right? That's the entire point. It's not, you don't need, people can tell stories, and I'm fine with having narratives. I think there's good quality companies out there that you can invest money in, 100%. I'd rather just trade technically and based on a system, right? Based on letters and numbers, not emotions, not feelings, not ideas. If you have ideas, start your own company. You know what I mean? Go join a company. But if you just worried about numbers, it's not to say I'm. It's just like that's what this is. This is the game that you play. Right? This is the game that you play. Yeah, this looks pretty good. And another thing is, like, we have support here at $70. So if we want to break this support, I'd set my stop loss right here. And then once again, if you enter, you're losing, 9%. And just think, if you're opening a shares position and you lose 10%, but some of them you make 40 to 50, which one's lopsided in your favor? And then options like this, bro, you can make 100 to 200 to 300%. It's just options are not, short-dated options are not. But yeah, options, if I take a call option on Hecla, it's going to be because we had a 5-minute closure, confirmed close above this level, and I'm going to set the stop loss at the low of the day. Once again, if this is our candle, this is the wick. I'm setting my stop loss right there. Once again, I don't think theta will be a massive issue if I have longer dated, expensive contracts. I like this. We're playing the momentum. This is my favorite options position, and it's the only options position I'm considering. I have a ton of shares plays loaded, and it's just position sizing. I'm gonna go all in on CCJ. Like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna play the upside, and I'm gonna have a stop loss. And if it wants to break my stop loss, I'm gonna exit. That's all I'm gonna do. Once again, it's having your risk planned beforehand, knowing your exit beforehand. That's the biggest thing. Knowing when you are gonna exit a stock. Obviously, you're going to get shocks like this or NVO, but knowing when you're going to exit, and sometimes you're going to hold a position, be up a lot, not sell, and then you're going to actually lose money on it, and yeah, it's going to suck, but just keep playing the game, okay? Just keep playing the game, and that's my plan. I'm going to continue to add money to my accounts and continue to get better and more disciplined at trading, because I truly believe in its application and potential to grow your wealth. And it's like, this is not physically demanding. It's not too mentally demanding. I'd say the most mentally demanding part of it is the discipline and actually executing and avoiding the emotions, which is mentally demanding. But it's not like I'm having to calculate, the hypotenuse of triangles in a fluid mechanics system. I'd prefer to do this and focus on this. That one has way higher upside potential. 2 is where all the money is made in the world and it's held. And 3, it's like, just enjoy this more. And it's up to me. It's not up to someone else or someone else's project. It's literally all up to you and the work you do. So yeah, I like a bunch of shares plays. Once again, shares over options for long term. Cut your losses based on structure of the chart. Based on structure of the chart. Even a deeper pullback on this would be better. I would actually prefer a pullback on this stock before entry. Once again, buy near the support. Like, this would not be a good entry, I'll be honest. I'm re-evaluating what I had marked earlier, thinking, okay, above this level I like continuation, and I do. This is clear resistance, but yeah, you'd rather buy closer to support like this. This is awesome, and you have a very tight stop loss. If it doesn't want to make a lower, if it doesn't want to make a double bottom, if it wants to reject this structure, I'll exit. It's that simple. This is a good setup to enter and put risk on. Plus, I I guess it's relatively high beta. I was going to say it's not high beta, but like a stock like this is not going to be driven completely by something like QQQ. Another low beta stock near support with a defined stop loss, right? If it doesn't want to make a higher high, a higher low, sorry, because we made a low, bearish, low. Now it looks like we made a bottom signal. If it wants to reject this bottom signal, I'll exit. That's it. It's trading this chart structure. If it doesn't want to make a bottom signal, I'll exit. If it wants to break below this, I'll exit. Once again, risking. Oh my God, that's 20%. Oof. Wait a minute. Yeah, we're gonna have to move that stop up. And it's just like risking what you're okay with losing. Because now instead of 20%, it's 15, 14, 13. So once again, it's not a crazy amount, but look at that double top right there. Damn, boy. Alright, this video is probably like an hour, so I'll see you later. Let's go.